Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and we're going to take a look at some of the ticker symbols that were in play today. Okay, first let's look at MARA. Really nice close today, closed up 97%. RSI closed above 50 for the first time in a few months, so that's a bit back in the bull zone, so there is room to run until the 70 overbought level. Fasto is now above 80. That was a nice bullish break above 50. So the chart is really heating up and building strength. We've got a nice bullish crossover on ADX with plus DI crossing minus DI to the upside. And there was also a parabolic SAR bullish flip today. The green dots are now below the candles. So these are all signals that the chart is heating up. There was a big bounce today and close above the middle Bollinger Band. The share price also closed above the upper Bollinger Band. You can notice the purple line here is hooking up. That is the key level you want to launch off of and make a move up to the next key resistance level, which is the 50-day simple moving average at 40. That's going to be the key level to break tomorrow. If it can break above 40 and get a close above, then it could possibly continue on to the 100-day simple moving average. First things first, needs to break above the 50-day simple moving average. If it fails to do so on a pullback, you want to see the middle Bollinger Band hold, currently at 22. As long as the middle Bollinger Band turns into support, a new uptrend should begin. Notice how this has been on a very long downtrend, and so this is looking like a bullish change in trend here is beginning. Notice there's a really big volume spike behind the move. This was a late in the day runner, so it closed very strong today, and we'll be looking for follow through tomorrow. So keep an eye on it, and we'll see if it can hit that 50-day simple moving average, and possibly we'll see if it can break above. Okay, let's look at DCTH. Nice, closed up 21% today. That was nice follow through. Congrats to everyone that's been in this trade. Currently, RSI is at 89 and at overbought levels. Fasto did correct, and it's now below 80 at 71. There is still some room to run until the 80 overbought power zone. Okay, the setup today, there was a gap up open, another gap up open, and then today's candle formed well above the upper Bollinger Band, which is currently at 0.189. Now, right below that is EMA4 at 0.185, and those are the key levels to hold if the share price does pull back. It would be most bullish if they bounced off that level and continued heading higher. Now, if for some reason the share price does pull back and it drops below EMA4, you could potentially see a drop down here to EMA8, which is at 13.3, or possibly down to test that 100-day simple moving average currently at 0.105. Now, a black candle did form today. It wasn't a spinning top because the wicks were not long enough. They need to be twice as long as the real candle body. But the close was below the open. This was a big gap up open. So the bears were in control into the close, and that is a red flag. Many times when this was pattern forms, the candles work back into the bands. So if the share price does push forward tomorrow, the key level of the break still is going to be this 30 level. Notice how this was a big support back here in February until it broke, and then in March or in January and February, and then it broke, and then now it's turned into big resistance. If it can get through 30, then we'd be talking about a push up here to test the 40 and 50 range. So yeah, so on a pullback, look for EMA4 as your first big support level. If you look here at the DCTH 15-minute chart, this is a 2-day chart here, and you'll notice the gap up open, and that was also the largest volume of the day. 80 million shares traded within the first 15 minutes, and then that was the high of day, and the share price was faded all throughout the rest of the day. It just continued to drop lower, closing close to the low of day levels. This was the lowest close of the day was down here in the 25 zone, and so the share price did bounce off this lower Bollinger Band, and it closed right above the 50 simple moving average, and that's currently at 0.263. That is the first big level to stay above tomorrow. The share price needs to stay above that level and then get back above this middle Bollinger Band, currently at 0.303. Notice that here at 2 o'clock, middle Bollinger Band support broke. That was a red flag signaling downside risk. And if the candles continue forming below the middle Bollinger Band, you could see a pullback further. If the 26, 27 level fails to break tomorrow and turn into support, the next big support level on the 15-minute chart is all the way down here at the 100 simple moving average. That's just about at 0.169, just about 17. So yeah, so keep an eye on the DCTH intraday charts tomorrow. It's going to need to break resistance to head higher. MACD down here is starting to pinch again. Bulls want to see the MACD line cross the signal line to the upside on the 8, 13, and 5. That would be the first clue that the chart is heating up. There was a parabolic SAR bearish flip into the close. Yeah, and so yeah, we're going to see if there's going to be consolidation tomorrow, or if it could break resistance and try to make one more push higher. Let's look at DXTR. Okay, yeah, this share price was, it was under pressure today. Closed down 15% after making a big move yesterday. It pulled back today. It closed below 50 on RSI at 46. Bulls want to see that back above 50, and then Fasto corrected from overbought levels. Now at 63, there's more room to run. There was a bullish crossover yesterday on ADX with plus DI crossing minus DI to the upside. And so we want to see the green line stay above the red and the black lines. And then eventually what you want to see is the black line, which is ADX crossing minus DI to the upside. That would be a signal that the bulls are strong. What happened today was that there was a slight gap down open, and then the share price pulled back, working its way back into the bands. Notice yesterday's candle closed well above the upper Bollinger Band. Many times when that happens, the candles will work back into the bands. The key, though, was the close today was above the bottom of the gap, which is this green line here. It's the top of this candle, and also above EMA 4, which is 26. So even though DXTR was down 15% today, it's still bullish on the daily chart. It's still strong. The candles are still forming above the middle Bollinger Band, and they actually closed above EMA 4. This looks like a pause candle and not a correction. There was big volume today. There was some loading off this lower wick. What you don't want to see is a drop down and a break below the middle Bollinger Band. That level needs to hold. Notice how it had been turning into support for many days. It will be best if the bottom of the gap can hold and that level stays support. The key level to break is going to be the closing price from yesterday at right here around 32.5, just below that. And then if it can break that, then we could be looking at a potential gap fill, which is this is the top of the gap here, and then the 50-day simple moving average. If it pushes to the top of the gap and it ends up filling the gap, many times they'll run a little bit higher, and then that would put the 50-day simple moving average as the next big target. Okay, it does look like this is trying to head higher after this long sideways consolidation pattern. Notice how it's been making higher lows. So yeah, we're looking for continuation here. So far the chart is still holding up and intact. If you look here on the DXTR 15-minute chart, you will see that it had a breakdown like DCTH. Notice that middle Bollinger Band was tested here, and then it finally broke at 2 o'clock, and the share price pulled back to the 50 simple moving average, just like DCTH, and then it bounced and it closed right above that level. So the same thing here. It needs to hold this 50 simple moving average at 26. If that breaks, you could potentially see a big drop down to the 100 simple moving average at 23. Just above is the there's this red descending resistance line, needs to break above that, and the middle Bollinger Band at 0.2 or 0.283. If it can get back above the middle Bollinger Band, then we could be talking about a run back up to 31.32 to test the high close resistance. So yeah, so it's going to be real important tomorrow that DXTR holds the 50 simple moving average on the 15-minute chart, and if it can get back above the middle Bollinger Band, it could get running again. Keep an eye on MACD, just like the other chart. The 8, 13, and 5 is pinched. We're looking for a bullish crossover. One of the reasons why it looks like this could have more upside potential is there's been big volume behind this push. So yeah, don't take your eye off of it. It just looks like today was a pause. We just don't want to see a big breakdown. Okay, let's take a look at FRZT. Okay, this is the Garfield Go stock. It had pulled back down to the 50 level on RSI after being at overbought levels, and it bounced off of that, so that was nice to see. It's still in the bull zone, stayed bullish. You've got the starting a bullish crossover here on Fasto. That was a nice bounce off the 20 oversold line, and then today bullish engulfing reversal pattern formed, following 4 red candles in a row. Okay, this is the pattern that formed today. You can read about that, and then if you look here, the close was back above the middle Bollinger Band. That's what we were looking for today at 0.0035. We want to see that level hold, and then we want to see a break above the EMA 8, 13, and 4. They're in that order right now, and so if it can, the share price can get above EMA 8 at 0.0049, then that should be a signal that it's ready to break out higher, and then we'll be talking about the high close here at 8.5, and then maybe a possible break above a penny. Okay, but it needs to hold the middle Bollinger Band in order to be a good play. If the middle Bollinger Band fails to hold, you've got support here on the closing price, just below 2.5, but that could be putting the 50-day simple moving average currently at 0.0015 on deck. So bulls do not want to see a big drop down to that level. There's been good volume behind this move. There was good volume today. Just keep an eye on the 15-minute chart. If you look here, this is a 15-minute chart that we were working on in the chat. Notice the share price dropped down. It formed this W double bottom pattern. It dropped down, it came up, hit the bottom again, and then it took off. And it's been filling this jar, and it looks like it wants to fill the jar back up to this prior resistance zone, which is at 0.005. The key level to break is this 100 simple moving average, which is the gold line, currently at 0.0042. We're looking for a break above that level, and that'll put 0.005 on deck and potentially the 300 simple moving average. There was a bounce in the close off of the middle Bollinger Band at 0.0038. That is the key level to hold. Notice it closed on a volume spike, and then look at the long lower wick on the last candle of the day. That shows loading off of the low there. And so we're looking for FRZT to follow through tomorrow and possibly confirm the bullish reversal pattern. And then now let's look at CYTR. This stock is in the process of turning the middle Bollinger Band into support. This is a chart we have been working on. Notice here we've got the candle today closed again above the middle Bollinger Band. That's the third close in a row above that level. So it is turning it into support. We want to see a break above this, this 67, the closing price here on the 19th. If it can break above that level, then the bottom of the gap, there's a gap back here. It will be the big level to break. It had tested here back on the 5th and failed to break, and then it pulled back and consolidated. If it can break above the 72 level, it could possibly fill the gap and run up here to 78 and to the top of the gap and create a gap fill. And so that would be good. That is the target here if the chart stays bullish. And if it can break above the top of the gap, then you're talking about a potential run up to the upper Bollinger Band, and and the closing price here on the 30th. So keep that in mind. Many times, for uptrending stocks that are in the bullish upper Bollinger Band channel, the middle Bollinger Band is the bottom of the channel, and the upper Bollinger Band is the top. Okay, so let's take a look at the CYTR 15-minute chart, and then here you can see the double bottom here. It bounced off of the 50-day simple moving or the 50 simple moving average, hit the middle Bollinger Band, came back down, bounced off the same support zone there at 62, and then today it got back above the middle Bollinger Band, and then also above the 50 simple moving average, which was the top moving average on this chart, and the top of the big four of the simple moving averages. So it's above the 300, the 200, the 100, and then the 50. It broke above at 115, and then the close was actually above EMA 4. Notice how the candles were riding the EMA's 4 and 8 support higher. So CYTR closed super bullish on the 15-minute chart. What we want to see is a break above 67. Notice that was the high close from back here. If that happens, that should be the signal that it wants to break out higher. So it has a good uptrend going on the 15-minute chart here. We just would like to see follow through and a break above 67 tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. Check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com for more charts and technical analysis. Okay, thank you.